Oh, goody.
All right, what's going on, everybody? Zombies here again, and today we're back with another Marvel Snap video. So today we got a patch, a few things changed, but not too much overall. But we do have some data mines, as is tradition, so we're going to go through them and see what things have changed and what new things we can expect towards the future. As always, things here are data mined, so they are subject to change. Nothing is set in stone, but it does give us a nice idea of some things we might be able to look forward to. I will say this patch does seem a bit on the lighter side compared to what we are normally used to in terms of data mines. Maybe some more stuff will come out over time, or maybe next patch will just be kind of bigger than this one to make up for that. But in general, there is a little bit less than I think we're used to seeing from the data mines. We do get the art for the Thor season with Surtur as the season pass card. We can also see a border being here instead of an emote this time around. They've had emotes in the last few season passes, but it seems like they're experimenting with borders as well. So interesting to see how people will react to that, whether they prefer one way or the other. Then we have some info on snap packs. So snap packs, if you don't already know, it sounds like it's going to be some new way of adding new things and potentially new cards that aren't showing up in spotlights to the game. Sounds like snap packs are going to be an event, and if we take out the weird like dashes and question marks and stuff here, basically this is just giving some description of how the snap pack stuff is going to work. So snap pack charges can be charged up to turn into snap packs. When you win a game, snap pack charge will turn into a snap pack. Snap packs open automatically after winning your game to reveal your reward. And it sounds like snap pack charges are going to be replenished every X hours of time, up to a maximum amount of charges. So it sounds like you're going to get rewards just for playing the game. You get these charges, they get converted into snap packs, you get whatever is in a snap pack. And then presumably, since I'm sure they want to monetize this somehow, there will probably be some way to pay to more quickly bring back your snap pack charges or whatever, rather than waiting however long the regeneration cycle is. So sounds like that's going to be a limited time event. I imagine we'll see that sometime before the end of the year, but that's all the information we have on it for now. There's also some custom game info titled Shuri's Lab. Maybe this will be a place where you can do a bit more free experimenting with cards or locations. It'd be really neat if this was just a whole testing grounds where you could pick the location so you can test out specific interactions with cards and whatnot. I think something like that would be a really cool addition to the game for people who like trying out more like niche and hard to pull off combos. We also have some bonus event information, so it sounds like there's going to be some sort of event for 2 years of Snap, so that'll likely be next month, as October will mark 2 years since the release of Marvel Snap. And then there's another event called the 9 Realms, and that is probably going to go with the Thor season. And we can see there's something for leagues as well here. It sounds like we're going to get another league in season 29, which I'm not even sure which season is season 29, if they've been counting since like the start of beta, but no one I think is really surprised we're going to be seeing more league stuff. New cards. So we didn't actually get too much in the way of new cards this time around. One card that we knew about but didn't know what it did now gets some text and some stats, and then we also see some adjustments to some of the other cards that are coming out later on. So Frigga's the card that got new text here, becoming a 4/6 with on reveal add a copy of the last card you played to your hand if able. Kind of an interesting effect here. I feel like there are some neat applications for this. Obviously, like you could use it to double up on another Mjolnir or something, which is thematic. You could use this in a Kitty Pryde type of deck on 5, where you play Kitty Pryde and Frigga, and you have 2 big Kitty Prydes if you've been pumping her up all game. There are some applications for this, but I do think this is going to be a little bit more limited by the fact that it is a 4-cost card. Who knows, maybe they eventually fix Zabu and that helps this card out, and for all we know, 4/6 might not even be its final form since this card is still a while out. Scorn got changed as well. This seems to be a bit of a nerf. So previously, Scorn 1/2, when you discard this card, give its power to one of your cards in play, and return to your hand with +1 power. Now it is gaining more additional power, however, it is not giving its power to the card on the field. So when you discard it, return to your hand and give +2 power to Scorn and one of your cards in play. So this is pretty strictly speaking a nerf, and it also incentivizes you wanting to actually play the Scorn more, whereas before you were kind of happy to just keep discarding it because the bigger it got, the more stats it was getting on the board. I still think this card has a lot of potential, especially with the recent buff we just saw today with Swordmaster, where it's now only discarding odd cost cards. This card doesn't really have a whole lot of odd cost cards it wants to discard, so Scorn could be a good addition there, especially when combined with the new Activate Hellcow for even more discarding. And then Surtur is going down from a 3/3 to a 2/2. This is a pretty big nerf. It's also, instead of gaining +4 power, it is gaining +3 power after you play a card with 10+ power. This doesn't seem that great to me. I mean, 2/8s are never bad. If you play 2 10 power cards, it does end up becoming a 2/8, 2/11 if you play 3 10+ power cards. So like, maybe it still works in a Scar deck, but the thing is, like, the initial application a lot of people were thinking about was, oh, you play this on turn 3, you play a 10 power on 4, you play a 10 power on 5, then you get Big Scar for free, you can pump it up even more. Maybe that was just too busted. I could definitely see that being possible, but I do think that makes the home for this a little bit more limited. But the change here definitely does make the card a fair bit weaker, and I find it really hard to imagine this having a wide variety of homes. I think it really is just going to be, I guess, a 2-drop in a 10-power Scar deck, and I don't really see what other decks can really make use of it, because it's just a very big build-around effect. And I think one of the big downsides for a card like this is if you miss the opportunity to play it in the early game on turn 2 or turn 3, it's just going to sit in your hand as a dead card for the remainder of the game, because typically the Scar decks don't really have time to weave in a 2-drop on the later turns, except for maybe on the final turn, and at that point you're getting, what, like a 2/5? At that point, just play Hydra Bob. I think this card is not super duper appealing, sadly. There's a new card showcased here, a Laufey. Don't know anything about this card or character, so if you do in the comments, feel free to let me know. I'd love to hear it. There are some new referenced cards here, so things found in the game files, but we don't really know anything else about them. Captain America's Shield, Dormammu, Cobra, Diamondback, Doombot 2099, Firehair, Gorgon, Joaquin Torres, Conchu, Redwing, Ross Red Hulk, Sam Wilson, Starbrand, Thaddeus Ross, and Toxie Doxie. Those are characters that, hey, maybe sometime in the future, probably next year, we can see some designs for those cards. In terms of cards that got changed, Activate was given to Hellcow. It also lost 2 points of power, and Black Swan became a 2/3, gaining Activate rather than being a 3/5 with On Reveal, and Swordmaster becoming a 3/7 that now only discards odd cost cards. We have some new albums here, more character album stuff. This one is for Thor, for the Thor season, makes sense. Then we have Even Heroes Get Hungry album, so food themed album. You get some variants here, a Doom emote, and then Trippy Surfer. So these are variants a lot of people liked seeing in the last Datamine, and I think this is our first album where it's very clear they're trying to like make an album out of a deck. This is obviously like a surfer deck. The album reward is, surfer variant, surfer emote, surfer avatar, all that stuff. Really cool art. I'm very curious to see how people end up feeling about this one. A little bit of a bummer on, I think, some of the cards that they did choose for this one, though, because like actual more optimized surfer lists don't actually run a lot of these cards, like Chavez, Okoye, Nakia. But a neat concept nonetheless, and I really like the art here, so I'm curious to see how people respond to that. We have a new Ultimate variant for X23. No news on the new Conquest variant yet. And then the Spotlights. As far as I can tell here, things have not really changed with the Spotlight weeks. Just quickly glancing over them here. One of the big pieces of news here, essentially, is actually what didn't happen rather than what did. and that is that none of the symbiote cards, aside from Scorn here, got changed. Like, all these cards are probably going to release how we are seeing them now, which is pretty crazy because the symbiote cards seem really, really strong, especially Agent Venom, who obviously not here in the Spotlight Weeks, but is the Season Pass card. A 2/4 that gives your whole deck 4 power, or sets your whole deck's power to 4. Seems like a really busted thing. And I mean, most of the symbiote cards seem pretty busted, so I think that's going to be a very impactful shakeup to the metagame, assuming these cards release this way. And since this was probably the last window they had for a major patch before the symbiote season, I imagine they're really not going to change too much. We're still lacking information on Malekith, don't know what this card does yet, but we do know pretty much most of the other ones in the Thor season. But yeah, we got kind of like half the information of the Thor season last patch, so it seems like we got less information this patch as a result of that. The season after the Thor season, though, is likely going to be the crossover season with Marvel Rivals, since Marvel Rivals is releasing in December, and there have been things that have strongly alluded to that being a crossover season for Snap, with both games kind of cross-promoting each other. So probably next patch we should get some more information about those characters, hopefully, and I'm excited to see it. In terms of new variants, a lot less this time around. This was really a lighter patch, like I said at the start of the video, and we have some variants here that were previously known about that are getting a release date. Some new card backs for the Pixel enjoyers with Deadpool and Wolverine, that's kind of fun. A bunch of new titles almost nobody cares about. And then bundles. So there are a lot of bundles here, a lot of Venomized ones to fit the seasonal theme. We have Venomized White Tiger with 500 credits and 1,000 gold for $10. We have a big $100 bundle with Morbius and Killmonger, Night Forged variants, 6k gold, 6k tokens, 2 matte black borders. Black Knight Peach Momoko with 4k credits for 5k gold. Nicola Savori Carnage with a red border, 1,500 gold for $15. And then the Nicola Venom with a black border, 2k credits for 2,000 gold. Venomized Mr. Sinister with a Cosmic Red, 1k credits, 1,200 gold for $20. Dancing Baron Zemo with 3,500 credits for $25. Venomized Gamora and 2k collector's tokens for $20. 8k credits and some random boosters for $50. Nullified Galactus with 2 Spotlight Cash keys, 5k gold for a whopping $100. Toon Pool with a matte red border, 500 credits, 1,200 gold for $10. Nullified Wolverine with a Cosmic Red, 3k collector's tokens for 3,500 gold. Maximus Venomized with 1,500 credits, 700 gold for $15. Night Forged MODOK with 7,000 credits for $50. Zombie Daredevil with 3k collector's tokens, 1,500 credits for $35. And then a various assortment of these premium mystery variant offers that I think people generally don't care too much about. And more Token Tuesdays, which, yeah, kind of same thing. And last but not least, we do have Doom, Kim Jacinto Doom, another $100 bundle containing a Cosmic Green border, 3k collector's tokens, 10,000 credits, and 1,500 gold. So those are all the bundles that we have, and that is the last bit of information we have from this data mine. In terms of the patch itself, really not too much else to cover here other than the stuff we talked about in the data mine. The 2 additional things worth mentioning here are we did get some new borders added to the game with the patch that, for whatever reason, were not mentioned in the notes. There is a Cosmic Rainbow and a Cosmic Black, which honestly I think should have been called Cosmic Gray because it doesn't look very black to me, but whatever. But they are available in-game now. However, they cost collector's tokens, and a fair chunk of collector's tokens. They are 1,000 tokens a pop, which to me seems like a fairly high price. But I think they're just trying to bleed the whales a little bit of their tokens. But I'm not sure how successful that's going to be because, frankly, I don't really feel like they're much of an upgrade, if an upgrade at all, compared to the current ones on offer for much less money. But maybe for the people who are swimming in more tokens than they know what to do with, they'll pick up some. I don't know. But I think that's going to be largely irrelevant to most of the player base. And then the last thing worth mentioning in the patch is double gold for those first-time gold purchases is going to be going away in 1 month's time. So if you didn't already know about this, basically if you're going to buy gold through the Marvel Snap app or the web store, which you should do it through the web store if you can, because you get more bonus stuff from the rewards track that you don't get if you purchase in game. But basically, for your first time purchasing each of the amounts of gold, they gave you double the gold for the same cost. This is something a lot of people took advantage of in the past. Get more gold for less money, profit, nice. But that is going away, and it is only applicable to, doing it your first time for each value. So if you want to pick up some gold for those double rates before it goes away, do be aware that the time to do that is rather limited, as it'll be going away, I think, 1 month from this post. But yeah, that's going to wrap it up for this video. Let me know what you think of the Datamines, the future stuff, the patch. I'd love to hear it in the comments below. But I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.